Hi, you're welcome. Thank you for joining me, Wendy Anderson, justbe.me. So, as you know, these things are always they're a little bit like a video diary of my ascension and what comes up for me in this journey, the highs, the lows, the ascensions, the descensions, and all of it is amazing. You know, even though sometimes it doesn't feel amazing, it's amazing. So Sunday, I was beautifully invited to a friend's yoga class. So she's just started teaching yoga, and it's not just yoga. What she does is amazing. So we were going to do some retreats together, and we said, why don't we do it over, a chakra theme? So the theme of her yoga class on Sunday morning was the heart chakra. So we did the yoga and we did the affirmations whilst doing yoga, and she explained, about the heart chakra and everything else. And when my favourite position, Siddhasana, where you just lay there, palms up, just being. Favourite yoga pose ever. And ironically, in that moment of surrender, switched offness, and I think this is where it's important to give ourselves opportunity to get into the feminine energy of surrender, into the nothingness, into the just being, to just allow to feel whatever is coming up. So I'm there in the yin energy, the feminine energy, just being, doing absolutely nothing, which felt amazing. Because it has felt very busy energetically this year. Even though I've not been busy actively, it just felt a very busy energetic year. So the most powerful light bulb moment came on in the Shavasana, and I don't even know if I'm saying that right. And in that moment, everything that's been going on this year, and it's been very busy and it's been very noisy. And for those of you that, have found meditation and you found certain things that bring you to a certain level of alignment and calmness, and you've got the tools, and you've got this toolbox, but you still can't find that level of alignment. And I think that's what I felt this year. And it's kind of like, so I'm laid there and I'm questioning, I've got all this toolbox of stuff that I can do, tips, techniques, everything, but I still can't find my way back up the mountain. So then it was the reminder and the light bulb went back on, literally the light switch, and it's as simple as this. It is so simple. So this is the answer to everything, the equation to every single universal question, and the answer is always love. And this year I felt like I've struggled to connect to that. It's kind of like I've fallen out of love with my car, I've fallen out of love with the house, fallen out of love with, just want to change everything. Everything's just closed a practice, and it's kind of like, so just kind of like felt bare and open to new things. And I think in some ways I had to release and surrender the old, let it go, in order to allow the universe to allow something new to come in. And in essence, it's not really anything new, but it's connection. So the connection is back to the authentic self. So I remember doing a chat with another friend in another like online retreat that she started up in lockdown, and we did the Caroline Myss charts, and you have to make a statement for the year, and one of my statements was to learn about connectedness. And in order to learn about connectivity, you have to learn about disconnectedness first. Really, really tough. So this year I've definitely been in the experience of disconnectedness, and it's the disconnectedness to love. So love in creation, everything is created from the frequency of love energetically. You, me, everything on this planet. We take the energy, we use our imagination, we use our thoughts, there we go. Even though we have the belief that we have no control of this, it's bullshit. It's bullshit. So yes, we do have certain limitations when we are contracting to and consenting to certain parameters and paradigms of the dimension we are agreeing to experience. So, you know, we've agreed to experience their dimensionality and all its paradigms and everything else. So part of its paradigm was disconnectedness from love, disconnected from your creativity, just disconnected from each other. So laid there, the answer, the light bulb came in, is connectivity to love. So, and it really is simple. So I'm like, well, what do you mean connectivity to love? It's like a light switch, when just switch it on. What do you mean it's like a light switch? Surely it must be kind of like, you know, more complicated than that. No, it really isn't. So we're going to take you back to a time when you felt love. All those moments in your life where you felt loved and love, and you all consumed in so much love around you and within you that it didn't matter if you had enough food. You know, it's kind of like, I'm in love, I don't need to eat a meal. Love is filling me up right now. You know, you think about that time when you met somebody close to you and you were absolutely absorbed in love and fascination for another being, and sleep didn't matter, work didn't matter, nothing else mattered apart from this other being. So they say, take that memory, take that how you felt about it, remember how you felt about it, and take that and connect to that within you. So that feeling and that energy has always been within me. It's within all of us. It's been within me. I am made from it. But I have chosen to flick the light switch and disconnect from it, and that's okay, because I have chosen to experience what third dimensionality feels like, and that is part of the paradigm, is to feel disconnected from love. But as multi-dimensional beings, human beings, and that's how we were originally made, is multi-dimensional, you know, with more expanded strands of DNA than we've had for thousands of years. We have only had 2 strands for thousands of years. That's not the way we were originally created. We were originally created with multiple strands of DNA connected to all beings in the cosmos. That, in essence, we actually created. So we are more than what we realise, so much more, way much more. So it was really interesting. And then so laid there, and the light bulb went on, and coming to that conclusion, it's kind of like, okay, right, I'm going to take that on. And then remembered, you know, when you've got a newborn and you just look into their face and it's kind of like, oh my gosh, they are so beautiful. I love you so much. What we disconnect from is that is what we are made of. So we think somebody else has got that. You know, our partner is a mirror image of us. You know, our partner is just there purely for us. It's a reflection to remind us of how to love ourselves. So in that moment, when you are in that feeling of just all-encompassing love, everything comes back into alignment in the physicality. Everything. So if you've got any ailments, aches and pains, anything like that, because you are made from love, the only reason why you've got ailments and aches and pains is because you've come away from it. So this is also the fountain of youth, and that you can connect to at any time you want. And it literally is reconnection to that emotion of love. How can I love myself? How can I love the things that I'm doing? How can I love everything that's around me? How can I feel that towards everything, including myself? And literally, ailments will just start to heal themselves. You know, just give yourself the time, just give yourself some rest, give yourself some nutrients, you know, kind of like put the love into your food, everything you're drinking. And it kind of brought me back to, so right now, the planetary alignment is, the way it's situated is heightened sensitivity. So if you're a feeler, healer and an empath, you're going to feel these planets at the moment. Beautiful. You're going to feel so out of alignment. You're going to feel so disconnected. You're just going to feel all over the place, aches and pains, maybe grumbles, whatever it is, fall out of love with your job, the dog, the husband, everything else is just going to be wrong. Beautiful place to be. So relationships under the spotlight as well. So everything is relational, from your home to your spouse to your bank account. Everything is connected to everything. And the person that stands right in the middle of all of that is you. So when we are disconnected from love, we are also disconnected from the relationships with all things. This is why we've experienced thousands of years in lack and somebody else pulling the strings. So when you think about your bank balance and its relationship with you and how much love you are filling yourself with, if you're not filling yourself with any love and you're disconnected from that feeling and that emotion, this is why feeling is so important right now, is to have some time to just be that real beautiful feminine energy, the feeling, and then into the doing, which is the masculine energy, and to bring those back into alignment in equal form. So both of those energies are really important right now, and some of you out there have got cortisol addictions. We can address that in another video. So you'll find it very, very difficult to connect with the yin energy, the feminine energy, where it's the do nothing and just receive. So many of you in kind of like caring jobs or roles will potentially have a cortisol addiction. Leave that for another video. So you'll find it hard to disconnect, to connect to that feeling and that emotion of love. Too stressed out. So the answers come in when you are you're feeling surrendered, you're feeling safe, you're feeling nothingness. You know, you are not the mind, you are not the body. You go rewind everything back to the 0 point field of that first point of creation before even your soul was created. So then your soul is created and your soul is infinite and just journeys, which is such a beautiful thing. It exists, it can go back to love of source for a little bit of surrendered being state, or it can have multiple lifetimes in different dimensions and experiences. And this human life is a grain of sand as to what the creative potential is outside of this dimensional sphere. We are so much more than it. So if you've got money worries, if you've got worries about kids or anything, it's kind of like, you know, that old adage, give it back to the universe. And I've never kind of like really fully understood what that meant. Up until now, it's just kind of like, well, you're more than that worry. You are more than this experience in this human form. You are way much more. You are a multidimensional being. Surrender. Attach back to that energy. So many of you may be feeling so crunchy right now and so triggered and so out of alignment and so out of balance, and it's come back into the surrendered state. So this is why meditation is not going to become a choice anymore. You know, these dimensions are going to be so crunchy going into the fifth dimension. There are certain paradigms that we are experiencing fifth dimensionality to lock into it. One is to be able to heal the body. To ascend, you need to be able to heal the physical form. And many of you, you know, are switching on that healer ability, which is amazing. Every single one of you has the ability to heal yourself. Every single one of you has got the ability to heal another person. And it's like, we don't need to kind of like go around kind of like touching people and, I'm a Reiki master and honour to every single person that is in that field. But every single person on this planet has got the capacity and the ability to do this. And it's literally connect back to that emotion, that feeling of love, emotion. So emotion is a feeling, just emotion. So how can I use that to let go of things in my body? And sometimes it might be physical, right? I'll let go of the not in love with that, let go of not in love with that. And then it allows the universe to bring something in that you are going to be in love with and you are going to be in alignment with. But you have to connect to that with you first, within. So you've heard me talk about the trapdoor heart in certain videos. And there'll be certain experiences in a human experience that is kind of like, trapdoors are closed, no, off, they're shut, they're armoured, they're in protection. When we are in this mode, we're not grounded, we don't feel safe, we're not sovereign, your chakras are going to be out of alignment. So if your chakras are out of alignment, your meridian's going to be out of alignment. If meridians are out of alignment, organs are going to be out of alignment, your nutrients are going to be out of alignment. You're not going to feel hydrated no matter how much you drink. You're just going to feel out. And that's the experience that I subconsciously asked to learn about these last few months. So the universe has brought every scenario in to bring me out of alignment, Come on, Wend, can you master that? Come on, Wend, Yellow Creator, wake up. And it literally was, I am so stubborn. I have been fighting it and falling off, this ascension bike time after time. But what I have been doing as well is kind of like beating myself up for falling off the bike. Would I hit a child for falling off a bike who is just learning how to ride? No, but this is what we do. So it's get your cheerleader that I employed this year. I've got my inner critic and I've got my inner cheerleader, and I employed my inner cheerleader this year. And I don't pay her enough, basically. So she puts me back on the bike now rather than my inner critic. And they're both there. Critic's just there at the side, and I get it. But she's kind of, and she's kind of like, come on, Wend. It's kind of like, this has just been today. You fell off the bike for today. Oh, actually, for this week. Yeah, for the last few months. Yeah, probably for about the last 12 months, love. It's all okay. Every moment is opportunity for resurrection. So in this now moment, just get back on the bike, open your heart, reconnect to love. All is well. Whatever worries, concerns you've got, yeah, you can hold them, but at the same time, can you also hold love for yourself and everything else still in your life? And then that's when the magic starts to happen. Everything starts to come back into alignment. First in the physicality, then in your experiences. So relationships is coming in too. So this is the way it's connected. Relationships. How many of us have fallen out of love with our spouses and we think it's, oh, do you know what? My spouse has been such, at the moment, the kids, oh my God, they're just doing my headache. And then you give yourself a headache. You literally manifest a headache because you've fallen out of love with something or someone. So your body, your physicality is telling you you've moved away from love here. And then you'll have spaghetti hoop brain and, your brain will be dysfunctional because you've fallen out of love. So it's telling you you've fallen out of love with something. So can we put something into practice? And I started to do this, I don't know, I did it years ago and then got out of the practice of it this year when I was learning disconnectedness. And I started to practice it again. So when I'd fall asleep, I would go through all of my people in my life and I would wish them wellness, happiness and peace, and just let them know that I love them, even the people that do me head in. And this is the thing about relationships as well. If you are in a relationship that is abusive, meaning they physically harm you, they mentally harm you, they isolate you from things and people that you love, they ridicule you and make you feel like a crap heap, or they punish you, and they blame you for every wrong that is happening in their life. It's okay to send them love from over your respect boundary. You can move away, you can walk away from them. It's okay, you don't have to feel guilty about it. You will feel guilty about it. That's the beauty of forgiveness. Forgive yourself for doing it. This relationship, so if that person is abusing another person, that person's heart is closed. It's an empty bank balance. You're not going to get anywhere in that relationship. There's no scope in it. So you can have a conversation with that person and tell them how you feel, and saying that I don't feel loved in this relationship. You may even go as far as it's actually feeling a little bit toxic. Is there anything that we can work with here? Give them the benefit of the doubt, give them the time. If nothing changes, nothing is going to change. Or if it changes for a short period of time, but then snaps right back to how it was, basically they are false feeding you, basically. They are not truly in it. So it's okay to let go of this relationship. It's empty. There's nothing in it. You are giving love and receiving nothing. And many of you have been used to this. We're growing up as children and everything else. That's the kind of relationship you're used to. You deserve more than that. You deserve to receive as much love as you are giving to people. And here's the old thing that, if you give love first, you'll get it back. Yeah, you will. And you'll probably get it from other people. But if there is a relationship that is void and empty, and that person is void and empty, and they show no signs of connecting back to love, then we can be grateful for knowing them and having them in our lives, to love ourselves more and value ourselves more, and leave them to their own devices. Because without you being there, feeding their quota of love, which has basically been keeping their physical form upright, they will weaken, they will shrivel. But in their shriveled state of beingness, they will find opportunity. And there is opportunity as you are to connect back to love. This is why I'm saying everyone, all beings have the capacity to heal. All beings have the capacity for an amazing life. It doesn't matter where you live. It doesn't matter what you're doing. Can I love it anyway? And that is the answer to happiness. That is the answer to contentment. Once we start to value ourselves as well, we can put in motions of change. Can I improve my situation? If there's something a little bit lacking or less than, can I improve it? Ask that question. How can I love myself more and put that love into action? And how can I share that? And this is where we come to purpose work, which is really important. If we don't do our purpose work, it's the death of the soul. It really is. You literally disconnect from the soul. And again, we are learning about disconnectedness. So the love for the things that I have and the things that I do, how can I share that with others that will also find value in it and find love in it in their lives? And then in that way they can share the wealth, and you may even start getting paid for what you love doing. Great, bring it on. And for me as well this year, I've laid bare with no purpose. And I I'm grateful for experiencing this, because then I've got compassion for people that have also been disconnected from their purpose. And that's probably a lot of people. And it could be people that literally have been in the same job for 20 years and have done the same thing for 20 years. And you're just literally turning up to get paid. And some of you might not even be getting paid. So you're thinking, is this worth it? You know? And you'll be feeling tired, you'll be feeling fatigued, you'll be feeling like, ugh. Take a break. And literally be like, I can't afford to take a break. It kind of goes against the grain. You can't afford not to. So because when your mind is out of alignment, your body's out of alignment, when your purpose is out of alignment, your soul is out of alignment. So you're discombobulated. And I've been feeling this, so I get it. So reconnect with yourself. What are the things that I fall in love with easily, that I love to do? And it may have been your job at one point. Choose a hobby that you've previously done, or choose a new hobby and take some time out to do that new hobby. Take a break from the thing that you are kind of like flogging the dead horse at, and it literally is flogging the dead horse. How much energy are you using for that? And this is all about energy management. So two people can be doing the exact same job and the exact same thing. It doesn't matter what the job is. If this person is disconnected from loving it and loving themselves and disconnected from that energy, they're just going to feel in that job. They're going to not love the job, going to not love themselves. Then they're going to go home and wonder why their wife ain't loving them and they're not putting out even. Why their kids are kind of like turning a cold shoulder, and their kids are even turning away from them. And then you've got somebody doing exactly the same job. So it's not the job, it's how we do it, and it's how we turn up in it. So then this person is connected to love. They're putting that remembrance in as what love feels like. Can I put that energy into me turning up for work, into the role that I'm doing? Can I put that energy into, with my work colleagues? They may be odd one where it's kind of like, nah. And that's okay. You can be the salty bitch, and that's all right. You are placing your boundary. They may be so kind of like down here away from love and no signs of change, where you literally have to dissolve them out of your experience. And it's okay to do that, because we are in the times of ascension. So it's kind of like, are you going to sacrifice yourself and your ascension because somebody wants a bit of attention? And they will want attention, these kinds of people that have switched off from love. It's kind of like, no, not going there, not doing you, thank you very much. So some of us have rejected the boundaried salty bitch. It's like, this is a new thing that I've kind of like, I've also employed the character, the archetype of the salty bitch this year. And it literally is. So some people would probably diagnose it as multi-personality syndrome, whatever. If you can helpfully disconnect from energy that is not in alignment with love, then that's self-protection. That is a form of love. It's not a mental disease, interestingly. So the salty bitch character and archetype, love her, employ her every now and again when I need to vocalise a boundary and say, do you know what, these are my terms that I am expecting in our relationship. If that person then goes against these terms, I feel betrayed, I feel heartbroken. My energy for the next 2 days is rock bottom. Yeah? So this is why anyone that is kind of like, right, I'm putting my terms here, I am not energetically going down there. I am not doing that. So these are my terms, and do you know what? There isn't a relationship if you continue to betray my boundaries and my terms. There isn't a relationship. It's an empty relationship, because it means that you haven't any respect for me. So me placing my boundaries is me basically coming into my own self-respect, and it's me vocalising my boundaries. Again, this year, something I've learned to do, and I apply the salty bitch to do that. And she's not horrible or nasty. She is definitely aware of the pebbles that she drops in the water and the rings of energy that will affect energetically the people around her in her vocalization of her boundaries. But she also knows she's coming from a place of love. So she's having to be salty because these other people haven't respected her boundaries before. So again, if you're a person that is receiving salty bitch from somebody else, then, well, karma is just karma, isn't it? You've obviously not respected that person's personal boundaries before, and they've had to employ the salty bitch for you. Deal with it. If you don't like it emotionally, then change your emotions. You know, we all have the power to do this in our human life experiences. Connection back to love, connection back to loving myself. And it is that feeling of, what did I feel like when I first fell in love, you know, with my babies that are unconditional lovers, even a pet dog. You know, it's kind of like, somebody told me the story that they know somebody and, you know, they'll put the jacket on their pet dog with such love and such gentleness, yet they treat themselves with such abuse, and therefore they'll treat other human beings with kind of like the same disdain. But yet with their dog, you know, it's, so again, you know, anything that brings us back to the remembrance of that emotion, what it feels like to love something, is just a reflection of what you've disconnected to in yourself. How can I love myself in the same way as the unconditional loving baby? How can I love myself in the same way as the amount of love that I give to a new love, romantic love? How can I give that amount of love back to me for my dog? You know, and babies and dogs are higher vibrational beings. They are already in the 5D realm. They are unconditional lovers. So take a leaf out of their books. They just give love unconditionally, without question. So let's take a lesson out of their books. And how can I connect to that the whole time? So a family thing that's been coming up at the moment, it's like the three of them have been kind of like, so the food in the fridge, and it's kind of like, you know, if you hold that sovereign mentality, that it's kind of, do you know what, I'm a being of love, you know, there's always going to be enough. If I'm connected to enough love in me, there's always going to be enough, whatever it is in my human experience. Don't forget, we've spent thousands of years being disconnected from this paradigm, so it's okay to fall off the bike. And three members of my family, I see them in their own suffering, moaning about the other family member because they've eaten their chunky kit, the cat that was in the fridge, or they've eaten this, or they've eaten that. They haven't asked for permission if they can have it, and blah, 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 blah. So then that switches them off from loving their other family member. Brilliant, beautiful. The universe is delivering a lesson to you. Can I connect back to loving myself to begin with? Do you know what? I love myself and I treat myself. I go to the shop and I buy myself another chunky Kit Kat, or I buy myself whatever it is that I need to buy, you know? Or can I love myself enough to just kind of like, do you know what? I'm a multidimensional being. I'm in this world, but I'm not of it. So do you know what? Can I raise myself above that energy and connect back to my heart, back to love? Do you know what? They can have my chunky Kit Kat. I love them. And if I love them, that's going to be reflected right back at you. You love you. Whatever you put out comes straight back in. So if you can love another person, then that love comes right back at you. And you know what? If you change that mentality, it will be interesting to see how the family member goes, do you know that chunky Kit Kat that I ate? Well, I've bought you another one. Sorry, it was just in fridge, just fancied it, needed a little bit of a love boost because I want loving myself. And this is how it is. This is how it they won't say this because they don't know what's going on, but this is how it is. I want loving myself, so I needed a bit of chocolate to get that love boost and serotonin back into my brain so I could reconnect to love. and your chunky Kit Kat were just there, so I ate it. So when the owner of the chunky Kit Kat, not the thief, actually finally realises, do you know what, they can have it. I love that family member, they can have it. Just watch the tables turn and the other family member will return whatever has been taken. I'm waiting for this to happen, and it literally is. I'm getting my popcorn, and you just drop the seeds, don't you? And they either take it or leave it. It's up to them. I'm happy over here in my love duck bus of me after Sunday's beautiful awakening, and it's up to them whether they do it or not. So this is the reconnection back to love, and it literally can change your whole life, rejuvenate the body, heal, reignite your passion back for your purpose work. And it may be that kind of like, do you know what, there's no reignition in passion in what work I am doing at the moment. Absolutely none. Great. Go choose something new. You know, change is as good as rest. Can I find passion in something new? But if you are disconnected from love and you go onto that new project, you're going to have the same deal. It'll get to the same point where if your heart's closed off, it's kind of like you'll begin to hate that and not feel right in that. So it doesn't matter what the job is, it doesn't matter what the home is, it doesn't matter what the locality is, it doesn't matter what the people you've got around. Well, in some ways it does. You know, an abuser, allow them to dissolve out of your experience, because you will begin to abuse yourself if you spend enough time with them. So open your hearts. The answer is always love. Hold some awareness. What in my life am I closing my heart down to? Yeah, my husband might have said something. Yeah, my wife might have said something. It's kind of like, and it literally, they may have gone to work and they hate their job. They've come back home in absolutely lack of love. They've got a closed heart, and then they expect you to jump all over them in love. Ain't gonna happen. I mean, you will get it, you know, if that person they're open-hearted and they're kind of like, yeah, and they will be infectious, and in that moment, you know, you will go, oh, come on then, you know. So it's open your hearts back to love. How can I fall in love with everything in my life again? And you are the centre of absolutely everything. The love has always been there. You're the one that I've just disconnected from it. So it's not about your kids, your spouse falling out of love with you. You've fallen out of love with yourself and disconnect from yourself, and you've fallen out of love, so therefore you've fallen out of love with life and everything that's in it. If you fall out of love with life and everything in it, if there is no gratitude for these things, where there's lack of gratitude, it will fall out of your life. This includes health, everyone. So if you do not respect and have gratitude and love for your temple, your body that is holding your soul, then it will be removed from you. And this is kind of like why a lot of people that are learning this lesson will leave this plane beautifully. And you can see it with older people, you know, because they've been on this planet quite a while. You know, it's kind of like they've been around other people that have literally eroded the love for life around them. You can see them, you know, they're popping all these pills that are, you know, toxic and heavy metals in them, and, you know, it really brings your consciousness level down. You cannot connect if your body is toxic. You can't. How, you know, you're basically poisoning your body. That is connecting to toxicness. That isn't connected to love. How can I nourish my body is the question. How can I reconnect my body with love that I am going to give it, and I'm going to put good food in it. I'm going to taste the rainbow. It's not rocket science. Anything with a list of crazy chemical ingredients with it is toxic. That's not putting love in your body. If you're in alignment, you can eat anything. But again, if you eat anything and toxic stuff all the time, that's not loving your body. It's finding a balance and equilibrium. So do you know what? If you eat kind of taste the rainbow the majority of the time, put love into yourself most of the time, yet you can afford the odd kebab, whatever it is that's kind of like not nourishing for the body, and you'll be absolutely fine with it. The odd glass of wine, the odd beer, whatever it is, you can enjoy those things, those toxic things. But if you are in love with life and everything else that you are putting in your body, on the whole, the majority of the time, then those things are all right. If you are continuously putting rubbish in your body and you are treating your body like a rubbish dump, you've come away from loving yourself. And there may be some past traumas and wounds that need healing there. You may have had relationships when you were younger that were abusive, and you've learned to abuse your body and yourself. So the one way that we can counteract abuse is to celebrate ourselves. So again, employ the cheerleader for any small thing that you can celebrate, whether it's putting your feet on the ground in the morning, opening your eyes, oh, I'm still here, I'm alive. Anything that you can employ your cheerleader and celebrate yourself with releases the program out of the mind of abusing ourselves. So literally, employ your cheerleader. Employing your cheerleader, you can lose weight. And I actually found this. So when I was around being a full-time carer for an abusive person, a family member, I put on 2.5, nearly 3 stone, because I literally didn't have the energy to prepare nice veggies and stuff like that. So do you know what? I've been where you are and I get it. And I abused my body, and it felt heavy, it felt awful, it felt sluggish to get me around. It didn't feel good whatsoever. I felt so disconnected from loving myself. And when I started to employ the cheerleader in my mind, I noticed the weight started to just drop off naturally. And I wanted to treat myself with nice things instead of toxic things instead. So just employing the cheerleader to start with, everything starts from the mind. And then you reconnect to the heart. So employ the cheerleader. Do you know what? Yeah, I broke away from that full-time care position, and today I managed to go for a walk. I treat myself, managed to go for a walk. And again, in itself, that's going to be helpful to the body. Right, how can I, I made my husband smile today. How can I treat myself for that? Do you know, I managed to say I love you to myself today in the mirror. Still felt like a bag of knackers, but I'm getting there. How can I celebrate and have a little inner party with that? Maybe good food choices. Yeah, we'll try that. And don't get me wrong, fell off the wagon. Still ate rubbish. But it was a beginning of the resurrection, a beginning of that change. And I think I'm more or less back to where I was before I started that full-time care position, which completely shut off my heart to any kind of love, because the person I was looking after was completely shut down. And so it was my parents, and as they get old, they close off and they close off to love. They were closed off to love in each other. Being around them was like being in the middle of a war in Israel, so maybe that's some reflection as to what is going on in some of these countries. And it's ironic, where in these countries there's been lack of love for other human beings that maybe have different belief systems to me. Do you know what? Still all made from love. You're all made from the same frequency. You're all made from the same energy. There is a commonality between you. There is a connection between you. And if you are putting hate out to another person, you are also connecting to hate within yourself. And that will come up in the body, in a physicality. So this is why there's going to be lots of people leaving this plane that have lost love for themselves and others. Your body can't stay upright. It hasn't got the energy or the frequency to be healthy or well. So it spirals into everything. So if you're hating your job, don't expect to come home and your kids and your wife because you're closing off your heart to what you're doing. You're closing off to love. You're closing off love in your relationships. So how can I use my work to improve my relationships? How can I turn up to work in love with it for whatever it is that I'm doing and for the people potentially that I'm working with? Give it some time and watch how your relatives or your family members start to respond to you. So rather than being repulsive and it's your own doings, can you be magnetic? And it's purely that connection to love. So I'm going to end this video here because you've had enough love. Now go create it for yourselves. Connect to it for you, in love with you, in love with life, in love with your body, in love with your thoughts, in love with your beliefs, in love with all other beings, no matter what it is that they are holding. But obviously abusive ones, you can let them dissolve out of your experience, and they will dissolve out of our experiences. So the ones that have got the trapdoor absolutely shut to love, they cannot exist in 5D on this human, on this plane. You could in 3D, because we've got soul contracts to keep each other upright. Those soul contracts in 5D have ended. So the empath and the narcissist ended. You know, we're not gonna live in that paradigm in 5D. And it's our choices, our free will. So we have to now be responsible for our own love energy to keep us upright and in alignment. We can no longer use somebody else's to do that. So this is what, sorry, I was ending it, but this is just what's coming. So the government, the bills, the money, the chemtrails, I hope I'm not banned for saying that word, all of these things, 5G, whatever it is, if you are connected to love and you are in alignment, water off a duck's back. You know, all of those things dissolve out of your experience. It no longer has, you're no longer in resonance with it. It no longer has matter. No longer matters. No longer has matter. All those things will not exist in 5D. They'll just literally dissolve out of our experience. You may in some ways have to actively seek choices that may bring you out of experiencing those things. So there's the beingness, and there's also actively choosing as well. So it's putting it into action, because we are still tangible, you know, in physical form. That's part of the experience. It's what you agreed to. It's what you contracted to. So immerse yourself in it. Why not? So love yourself, and ironically, those things can't touch you because your body's in alignment. So what? They are toxic. We know that. But if you are in love with life, and you are in love with your body, and you are in love with yourself, love is the highest frequency that there is. It trumps absolutely everything. It's a top trump card. Fall in love with yourself again, and all of those things do not matter. So if you're thinking, how do we get out of these situations and scenarios? Okay, well, change the mindset from being a victim to all of these things and be the creator. And the creator within connects to the love within. Open the heart. Open the heart. And once people open their hearts on this planet, we will start to see miracles. We will start to see the change. We will start to see the shift, because anything other than what is not in alignment with our hearts and with love, it holds no matter, because we are not creating it anymore. So do not focus on it. Come out of the victim mode. Again, kind of like the powers that be, those powers that be, because they're not the powers that be. The powers that be is love. They're here. Love is there. So it's kind of like, you've got nothing, you know. I'm happy with life, and you know what, if I'm happy with life and I'm focusing on loving the people around me, loving my purpose work, loving the people that I'm doing and everything else, everything else comes out of your focus. You don't give it any matter. So you are not in creation of it. So all of these things that are occurring at the moment, we are creating it. It's coming from within. Everything comes from you. So uncreate it. If you created it, uncreate it. Or create something different. Create something new. An intentional life. I'm only now in alignment with the path of love. That's it. End of. That's it. So anything other... And obviously, you know, it's kind of like, if you're in this alignment, it's not saying kind of like, I'm not going to have bad things happen to me. You know, like this year, I felt so out of alignment. I felt so disconnected. But I asked for that experience in order to create connectedness back to love. So for those of you that don't want to experience the disconnectedness, I've done it for you. And this is kind of like what I came up with. There you go, in me. Show and tell. So you don't have to go through it if you don't want to. Some of you will have to experience it because it's just the way you're made and you feel like you need to experience it in order to immerse yourself and learn from it, and that's okay too, that's fine. Some of you will go, I'll take that on board, thank you very much, I'm going to avoid, or yeah, I can feel I'm in that lesson a little bit. Do you know what, I'm going to snap out of that. And it literally is light switch. So this is the most powerful, energetic video that I have ever created. I have done one of these before, and ironically, it wouldn't upload into YouTube. So I have done this before, and I have learnt this lesson before, but I'd forgotten about it. Fell off the bike. It's okay. Whatever. Get back on. So I'm resurrecting it and sharing it with you, and hopefully I'll be able to reload it onto YouTube. I'm going to try and make a short as well, because I feel like, please share this with loved ones, please share it with family, please share it with people that you've lost love for, share it with the dog, share it with dogs. Don't need it, you know, God backwards, and not religious, but it's that energy. God is pure frequency love. That's a connection back to love. Religion has nothing to do with it, actually, not really, but you can use that as an integration to connect with it, and that's okay too. You know, if you're using that energy to realign with the God force energy, which is pure love, then that's okay too. The only thing that I don't like about religious teaching sometimes is where it takes us away from loving ourselves. You know, the guilt and the shame programs and things like that, the fear programs, you know, they take us away from love. But as long as you are aware of that, then, you know, use religion as a vehicle to get back to love, whatever. Do not, entirely your choice. It's a free will planet. But in love with myself, in love with life, in love with you, and let me know what you think in the comments. Try it for 7 days. Open your heart opening. Open your trapdoors. Take the bolts off and locks off it and the barbed wire. Open it up to yourself and to others, to your job, to whatever it is, and let me know. And you will experience miracles. It just is. And you'll be like, oh my goodness. So enjoy. Light switch, light bulb, back to love. I'm connecting, just pure love. That's all that is. Bye for now. Take care. Later.